All right, let's talk a little Bucs football. They get a triple dose of good news, and I'm going to talk about this. This is more my good news, if I can be honest with you. And I think it is good news because I think there are 3 players, as OTAs are getting rolling. All right, I think there are 3 players that are absolute breakout candidates for this team that contributed last year. They played a lot of snaps last year, but I think they are ready for a big breakout this year, and that's what the Bucs continue to do. They continue to draft well, and then these players continue to get better. And while we're all excited, all of you are pumped, I guarantee it, for this year's draft class. Let's go back a year and for someone 2 years and look at those draft classes, because a lot of times you're drafting for immediate, but you're also drafting for the future. So let's talk about a few of them. If you're new to this channel, my name is Craig. Me and my buddy Chris, we started this channel a couple years ago, and the goal was to talk about teams that the national media kind of ignores. As you can see behind me, I got the Hutch jersey. I'm a Lions fan. We are Detroit Lions fans. If you've been watching this channel for any time, you know that. But we love giving a fair shake to all the teams around the NFL. So let's go ahead and talk about 3 players that I think could be a big breakout candidates. The first one, and I'll throw some stuff up on the screen here in just a minute to remind you of who these players are. All right, the first one is a duh, and it's Kaja Cani. I think when he was drafted, yes, you heard all the Aaron Donald comparisons and all that kind of stuff, but his talent is obvious. It's obvious. Yes, he only played 12 games last season. I understand that. But he still led the team in sacks. It depends on where you look, if they give half sacks or not. He either had 7.5 or 8 sacks. He's a unique player. You know he has elite quickness, low center of gravity, makes him very difficult to get in front of consistently. All right? And then you have a guy next to him like Vita Vea, who alone commands double teams, so he's not as liable in the run game when you have a guy like Vita Vea across from him. Here's the thing that stands out. When you look at Kaja Cani, there's 2 things. First, we go back and look at what kind of an athlete he was coming out. He was elite. Everything about him was one of the best we've ever seen, except his height and his weight. That's it for a defensive tackle. That's it. All right? Everything else was absolutely elite. Look at this. Everywhere. Elite speed, elite agility, elite explosion. That's who he is as a player. But here's the other thing that I think we have to understand about Kaja Cani. He was inconsistent. And that is what happens with rookies. As they are learning how to play in the NFL, and also as they're dealing with injuries, they have to learn how to be consistent. All right, so when you look at him in these 12 games, he had 40 pressures, but he converted them at a high rate for 8 sacks. His pressure rate was actually not extremely high. It's high for a D tackle, but that's what you're expecting out of him. So look to see a guy that not only continues to effectively rush the passer, but a guy who's going to be more consistent when it comes to the way he plays football. He had his best games last year against Dallas, Las Vegas, New York, and San Francisco. I thought that was very, very interesting. Kind of showed up, honestly, for the big games. So let's hope he can show up for all the games in the next one. All right, the next person that I want to be talking about on this that is going to be a breakout candidate is the stud left tackle turned center, Graham Barton, out of Duke. Here's the thing about Graham Barton that I think is so unique. When he was drafted, you don't really think about a guy being an absolute elite athlete coming out of Duke. But that's exactly what Graham Barton was. In fact, you thought Kaja Cani had an impressive RAS. Remember, relative athletic score. The most, based on all the people that have tested at that position, it gives you a score of 1 to 10. Anytime I see a 10, I just get giddy. Because that means you are looking at the most athletic player to ever test at that position. All right, whether it's speed, agility, or size, Graham Barton is elite in all of them, and he has put together what was the most athletic center ever coming out. The problem is he wasn't used to playing center. He wasn't used to playing center. He was a left tackle. And I think everybody's like, oh, well, left tackle, that's the hardest position to play. It's different. Because as the center, the whole offensive line is looking to you. You're barking out calls. You're doing all these types of things. And what was so exciting to me about Graham Barton at the center position is that he only gave up 1 sack last year. But what's even more impressive than that is that he only gave up 2 hits. So there were only 3 times that Baker Mayfield was touched on Graham Barton's watch. And because of Graham Barton. With that being said, he didn't grade out as this remarkable, he didn't grade out as just this remarkable PFF player. He didn't. But again, with him, I am going to be looking for that elite athleticism to start showing as an elite player. That is what I'm looking for, is the trade off of him becoming an elite player. That's what I'm seeing. All right, the next one, some would say he already had a breakout season. I'm telling you, another one is going to get even better. It is Yaya Eguae. All right, Yaya Eguae is going into his 3rd year. I just want to give you some changes in numbers from rookie year to 2nd year. He went from 9 sacks down to 6. That's interesting. But he went from 3 hits up to 15. I like to combine sacks and hits when I look, because anytime you get a hand on the quarterback, you're messing with him. Anytime you hit him. So he went from 12 to 21. It's not bad. Hurries. He went from 18 to 49. Wow. Big change there. So here's what I would see, or what I would expect to see from Yaya. I would expect to see he got consistently after the quarterback this year and hurried the quarterback, or last year and hurried the quarterback. This year, I would fully expect him not to just consistently continue to hurry the quarterback. I would expect the hit numbers to go up, and I would expect the sack numbers to go back up. I would be surprised, if I can be completely honest, if he's not a double-digit sack guy this year. And when you have 2 guys, Yaya Eguae and Kaja Cani, that are going to be pushing double-digit sack guys, you have considerably, or at least in the conversation, for elite pass rush on a defensive side. And I think, again, what people keep forgetting is this dude is an absolute freak athlete. Look, I understand they're young, or I understand they're light. All right, but 263 is more than enough weight to set the edge in the run game, but also be an effective pass rusher. He has elite speed, elite explosion. He has great arm length. Like, when you look at this guy, it all matches. What is put on tape is what it matches what it shows in the database. Like, he's athletic. And I'm telling you, these 3 guys, and what I love about these 3 guys, they're all in the trenches. They're all in the trenches. So, there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you feel the same. Let me know if you think any of these guys, which one do you think is most likely to be a breakout player this year? Do you already view Yaya as one? What does that look like? I think he's got more in the tank. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.